2:03. We've waited enough. I think we got a pretty good a group of folks here that we can just take off and start going.
Yeah, we got a healthy group of people that have joined on time. Thank you guys all for joining on a Friday. You know, end of months, end of quarters for some folks, but you know, this product that we're going to introduce to you might not be new to some of you folks. You know, just to give you a little bit of background on LotViewer, we've actually had this product, this feature available for about the last year. We had the newest version launched on May 1st, and so there's some new features and stuff we want to go through. And so this might be an introduction to some of you folks, but it also might be some new features and updates to others. And so, you know, we appreciate the time today to kind of introduce this and show you the tool. Give you a little background as well. Currently, we have 8 out of the 10 top home builders, land developers, home builders that are using this product in a division somewhere. And so we're seeing lots of growth in this feature. And so I think that you can see the benefit to this, not only from your finished lots and some of the features we'll go through today, but also from progress tracking and some of the other you know, benefits to using this even on grading projects. And so that being said, I'm going to be emceeing today. My name's Scott Mitchell. I've been in the tech industry around construction technology for the better part of 20 years. Been here at Trace-Air for about 2 years and just loving every second of it. And also the one that's really going to be driving today is Josh Cummings, who's our head of customer success. I think between the both of us, we have about 40+ years of technology behind us. And so I'm gonna leave you in good hands. That being said, Josh, I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you get going.
Yeah, thank you very much, Scott. You know, as you said, I'm the head of customer success. I just make sure that everything's working and my team works directly with you. I'm going to take you through the beautiful journey here with LotViewer. There's options here for question and answer. We're also going to leave some time at the end for question and answer. So if you see that in your Zoom webinar, just type in some questions. We have some moderators handling that. If you would like to raise your hand and interrupt at any point in time, no problem. But I'm going to take you through this. We're going to talk about verifying lot grades and through our LotViewer program. And, you know, the key here is that show you what we got going on, show you where we started, where we came from, and you know, just try to get some tools useful to the field. Okay. So this is our subdivision flat demo environment that we always talk about. And a key new thing that you're going to visually see when you have a LotViewer is you're going to see this little LotViewer icon down here on the left-hand side, but also through the time machine, when I click out here, you're going to see a little pink LotViewer icon. Now, once again, LotViewer can be sold per scan or throughout the duration of the contract, so you're monitoring. However, in our demo environment, we have it on one scan just to kind of show everybody what's going on. Now, the keys for putting LotViewer on is very simple: a design grade and an outline of your lot numbers on your project. So if we have the lot numbers and we have the design grade, simply done, easy breezy, and it's available for you, and these buttons are turned on. Now, as I click that beautiful scan and I hide the view and I click on LotViewer, the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to turn on my compare surfaces overlay so I can visually see where the dirt is and our interface related to where all the lots are numbered. Now, as you can see on the left-hand panel, we have multiple options. So we can start out looking at cut fill balance, and then we can go further down into spot elevation. So let's start with the cut fill balance and just turn this on real fast and kind of show you what it quickly does. Now, as you can see right out of the gate, red and blue is available, and it goes hand in hand with our meter to the right. So the you know, height meter that we have as far as elevations. And as you can see, there are a couple projects, and I'm just going to scroll in, that have this opaque color. Those lots are good to go based upon cut fill balance. They're balanced. Everything can move forward on those. We can sign those off, no problem. As I continue to scroll in, we can get to the numbers of how many cubic yards we actually need, removed or filled. And this particular lot up here, number 338, we need 97 cubic yards. And as I scroll in a little bit further, we get that option of cut, fill, balance. Now, as you can see, that's kind of a foundation, which obviously it's cut, but there's dirt on top of it. So if I go up a little bit here for 335 in the back corner, we got a nice little pile, 52 cubic yards. This allows us to quickly see and diagnose or react to these lots and what is going on. Now, one thing about this is I can download every lot and every balance associated to those lots and send them off to our dirt contractor, our subcontractor on site, the foreman, maybe the superintendent, whoever needs to see this. I can quickly collaborate with, show them the areas where the dirt is high, and react to this as needed. One amazing feature that we have in here is that I have now awesome what we call spot elevations. Now, one thing that we like to talk about when certifying lots and talking about lots is the actual elevations. So we can pin approximately 9 elevations, and I'm just going to kind of zoom in on this so you can see it. 9 elevations around the pad if I wanted the 4 corners, or 4 corners of the pad and the center, or 5. Truly up to you on how many pins you would like to see. The key with this is that I can simply set my max deviation. Now I'm going to set something that would never be tolerable because of how this site is set up, just to show you. And I'm going to set that max deviation as 1 foot. So every single item that is 1 foot or more over, I can quickly call out. The ones highlighted in purple are the problem child. Everything else is good based upon that deviation. Another aspect of this is if you look really, really close, is right here, there are blue circles. And right here are red circles. Going by our beautiful elevations and our tolerance, red obviously needs to be cut and blue needs to be filled. So right from the visual, I know what I need to do right out of the gate. From here, I can send my team to go out and cut or fill those beautiful lots to get them sold. But what also happens is I get 2 options now for downloading into Excel. One being all of the lots that do not meet the threshold, or I can download all the lots as needed. Once again, it's all about that collaboration with the folks in the field or the survey crews that are going out to verify these. A big piece of this is that it allows me to certify all of these lots or check all of these lots or pads and elevations in kind of a group format. So I'm not calling that surveyor out 6 and 7 times and then going back. It gives me that gut check of where these lots are and what I need to do. Now with that download, not only do I have that, but if I scroll in and I'm just rolling my mouse ball, what will show me is I can see design, elevation, and difference. So I can click on that and I can see the actual points that are off. So right here, the red is the design, and right there's the tolerance. A lot of cool stuff right out of the gate to be able to see that. Everything else looks pretty good, but I'm calling that out with my max deviation. If I turn this off, I can see each one of those deviations as needed. So I am just scrolled in to these specific spot elevations and I am seeing them. Now we've had a lot of customers decide, hey, maybe I don't want them on the pad. Maybe I want these 4 around a specific area. Of course, not a problem. We can do that. We love putting them on the pad, no problem. It's kind of a good thing for us, but if we need them moved for any reason, up to you. Now, once again, this is all about that overlay, that design grade, and as much detail as possible that you want to see when you're looking at these lot elevations. Now, one more thing that we're seeing a lot of is that this is saving that drive time. It's the guesswork. And I kind of alluded to it earlier, is it's saving the capability of bringing a surveyor out multiple times and fixing things. All in one, here it is. I'm going to set that deviation under my piece. And then from there, it will be purple available or white where I can move forward. I apologize for that. Okay. Now, once again, all about saving that time, all about visually seeing what's going on, all about being able to handle things as well. But not only can I turn the lot viewer on, but I can dig into it. Say, for instance, let's go to this beautiful pad. I'm going to find a good one. Here's a beautiful pad right here with a lot of dirt in the back that needs to be cut or filled. I can then use other tools on top of that. So if I wanted to, I could turn on cut fill balance and build that cut fill balance right into that pad so I know what's going on. So without a doubt, if I just wanted a section, or maybe I want a whole series of pads, maybe I want to go and grab a bunch of pads and get a full calculation of the cut fill balance for this, I can. The key with this is that not only are we using this tool, but we're able to use other tools on top of it. If I wanted to collaborate with the dirt subcontractor, if I wanted to add some drawing notes where, these issues are known, and I can do that right out of the gate, up to you. But with this, it gives the visual and it also gives us that collaboration piece.
Hey, Josh, how accurate are the measurement tools?
Okay, so using ground control points and everything, we say within 1/10 of a foot or 3 centimeters. That is our goal, hands down. As far as measurement with cut fill balance, that's the 1/10 of a foot. As far as linear measurement, we're almost like spot on. It's less than 1/10 of a foot. So really awesome stuff.
Great. When do you see from your perspective, like when do you see folks using this feature?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of steps that are happening during the course of the building cycle. We could talk about finished lot purchase. We could talk about grading activities, but I think the reality is every step throughout until we get into the vertical construction piece on that lot. So from the grading, from the finished lot purchase, if we're buying finished lots, or from that finished lot turnover to when we're actually, even utilities, right? Some contracts we have utilities are coming in and dirt's being moved, and based upon that contract, dirt needs to be put back. I can see all of that and that detail and give everybody kind of an overview of what's happening and when it's happening throughout.
And I think that's great. Another question that came through was, how quickly will they have access to this data? If we were flying this site today, how quickly would they be able to utilize Lot Viewer?
Absolutely. Tomorrow morning. If we fly today, everything is uploaded and we process it and it's available tomorrow morning. And that's for every single flight, hands down. Unless you're flying like 10,000 acres or 1,500 acres, stuff like that. Yeah. The acreage is a big one, but standard sites that we're doing 500 and less, no problem.
Right. So you would say like around 24 hours, give or take, within about.
Without a doubt. Yep.
That's great.
Were there any other questions that flew through that chat?
All right. So we have a question about vegetation on lots. Like, how does the technology, how does it account for vegetation? Will the scan elevations of the underlying dirt or top of the vegetation be an issue?
That's a great conversation. In some cases it is when we're in thick stuff, but we have a tool that's proprietary in the background that actually will take points around that area and basically even it out so it takes it out. It's an amazing name. It's called machete, like chopping it. So what we do is we will take those out. We do that a lot for cars that are in the work environment, in the grading area. Any type of car or equipment, or we even have job site trailers that are placed here. So we will look around the area, make an accurate thing, and just chop it off so we can help you with that vegetation.
Right. And I think the best part, kind of to dovetail on that is there's we have a component of this to machete clean, and we also have a human component to actually validate that step in that process too. And so to be able to do that is an individual case basis. And so the person that asked that question, or anybody listening, just know that we would have to evaluate each project uniquely and different. And so just, send us over those boundary files. We'll take a look and see if we can, we'll assess the situation. But yeah, it's really all ICB.
Oh,
so I got a question for you. Here's another one that popped in. Can you show us how you can get spot elevations with approximate coordinates?
Absolutely. So beautiful, beautiful question. And I'm going to clear the map here, and I'm just going to go into the lot viewer again, just to kind of show you. I'll click it in and I'll turn lot viewer on. Now with lot viewer, we have all of these details, and I'm going to pull an area where there's elevations that are on a pad, and we'll just kind of scroll into this pad for 290. Now within this, there is a tool up here in the measure section that is elevation and coordinates. Hands down, select that, and we can move anywhere we want, and it will give us elevations. I can add as many as I want and click and see where things are. So if I want a follow-up or a check to do this, no problem. One thing that we did see, which good or bad, probably more so bad, but what we ended up seeing was that dirt was being pushed into sections that were not being monitored by our lot viewer. We saw folks kind of making a horseshoe around our 9 elevations to kind of hide a little bit of dirt here and there, and we caught it with the spot elevations and our beautiful compare surface that visually will show you yes or no. Now, after you get those elevations, we can download them to Excel. I can download them to a data collector as needed, and I can also save these as markups as we go forward. So these were my checks versus your checks. Now, once again, when we save markups, the key with markups are public or private. So my markup or a public markup. If I'm just checking something and I want to keep an eye on it, I always save it as my personal markup. If I want to save it and publish it to the rest of the team, obviously we would put it as a public markup. But without a doubt, that collaboration is there. So the answer is measure, elevation, and coordinates.
Perfect. I see a question that came through, and I think both of us can answer this one. But where do you think projects benefit from Traceair, benefit from lot viewer? Like, what size of project? I don't know if you want to talk about it in acreage, in lots. I have a perspective on this. I mean, I have customers that are using us in really small, just like a couple of acre type projects, a couple of lots, because from my perspective, it's not the fear factor. I don't want to scare anybody into a dirt bust or something like that, but it's just the ability to have eyes on your project, regardless of its 250 lots or if it's 3 lots. It's just having eyes and visibility on the project. And so that's my perspective. But Josh, is there a sweet spot? Do you see anything where there's a sweet spot that folks benefit from this?
So when I talk about sweet spot, there's caveats. How many project managers do you have managing how many projects? Does one project manager manage 7 or 8 projects and he or she is remote, or it's a distance to this site? This particular project has like 480 lots, almost 500 lots. In my mind, hands down needed. But I've seen projects 30, 40, based upon distance and resources. So they can keep this and they can keep that dirt contractor or the individual that they're working with, whether it's they're doing the dirt movement themselves or not, honest. The key here is that we have a situation where I have to trust someone when I'm not on site. Visually, now I can see it, I can see what's wrong. And now instead of reacting, I'm directing. I am directing dirt contractor to issues. I'm directing dirt contractor to resolve problems. I am not reacting. So sweet spot is based upon a bunch of caveats to answer your question, but I like it now, and maybe that's just me and how I am about a little bit of more control over the future of the project, if that makes sense.
Made sense to me.
Perfect. Now, I saw a couple questions about, hey, how do we compare previous lot viewer scans and those details? That's all done 100% through the beautiful time machine. So if you have lot viewer on a bunch of them, you can compare, you can take a look at it, you can see that value time over time as needed. So as many as you have, simply, you can compare them through using compare surface as well. Now, I also saw a question about how often are flyovers done? How often do we capture this imagery? And this is 100% up to you. So we can do it weekly, we can do it bi-weekly, we can do it monthly, we can do it quarterly, however you would like to track the progress. But do not do it every 6 months and then have to figure out what transpired in 6 months. And, lo and behold, there's a problem. That's the one thing that I'm always cautious of telling folks. If you do it monthly, we're good. If you're doing it every 6 months and there's a lot of activity happening on that project and something happens, it's going to be very, very tough.
Hey, Justin, and as far as tough goes, and I think that this is a good topic around our relationship with the civil engineering crews, as well as the relationship with the land developers and the home builders, because me on the front lines, I do interact with everybody here, and I think that it's, from my perspective, again, I think it's really just understanding what we do and what we do not do. We are a software company. We're not a civil engineer. And so, from my perspective, I think there's a place for all of us to live. But Josh, you are the interaction of all of the customers and what feedback do you have? Like, what's your perspective?
I'm seeing a large increase with civil engineers using our data as a kind of like a calling for them to go out and do the certification to make sure these things are happening. They're using it to verify. They're exporting our 10 files that we generate through our files option, and they're overlaying it with their initial dirt calcs, and they're seeing where things are going. So the relationship between civil engineers, Tracer, and the project, it's just growing closer. They still, based upon the laws, they still have to certify and stamp, but they're utilizing us for scheduling of their surveying crew on when they can go out and working with the project manager on when they need to complete their task. They're also working with our teams, project-based teams, on little changes, right? A dirt calculation is off here. We believe it's here. When we're doing cut fill balance for the whole site and we're coming up with 8,000 cubic yards and the civil engineer has come up with 20,000 at this point in time, I've been in many rooms where we have come up and showed where our calculation is, and they go out and recertify their calculation and revalidate everything. So lots of good back and forth collaboration with that group.
That's great. I think that, again, and you kind of nailed it there. I think that initially there's a competitiveness feel, but I think once we kind of hash out the relationship, I mean, we all work together. I think we all work together these projects finished early and on time. And so there's a place for all of us.
One,
Yep. So we're coming up on a couple of minutes left here, gang. There's a lot of questions that are coming through. I think we can, I'll try to just keep firing away at them to see if we can get these answered. So after the flyover is complete, do you guys overlay the community plats? And I'm assuming like the DWGs, you know, and those type of files, are we doing that after the flyover? When is that done in the process?
one more time on that one, Scott.
So any overlays to a project, are we getting the overlays before we fly or after we fly? Typically when we're setting this up.
Yeah, 100%. We love to get them before. But once again, as that project evolves, you can, as your individual, you know, person, can go into our overlays and upload a new overlay, or you can send it directly to a CSM. So a customer success manager that's assigned to you. Hands down, whatever you need to do with that, up to you. You know, design does change, so love it.
Exactly.
Now, Gary asked an amazing question. It's really awesome. He said, "Hey, using measure cross sections, will the lot lines show in the section view?"
Ooh.
Yeah. So the lot lines will show in the design, so you can see where the lots are. So let me kind of show you this in the design. So when I go measure cross section and I just do nice little section here, in that design file, if we're showing how those come across, you can see the lots where the lot lines end. See the dotted line there? So the lot lines kind of show in that CAD file of what's going on, whether the swells or what have you. If we turn on the overlay in this cross section, and I'll just kind of show this real fast, I can see the lot lines. And then when I get to moving, you see that little blue dot? That's right there where the lot line hits. So, and if you ever need to snip this screen or you need to do anything about it, that's not a problem in either.
Right, to create exhibits or what have you. Yeah, I think that's a great feature, the little blue dot. And truth be told, I didn't even realize when we put that in to the tool. But once I found out, I find it to be very handy. Kind of keep an eye on where you are as you're kind of going across the cross section tool.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So some questions that came out. Are we nationwide? Yes, we're actually yes, we're nationwide and in multiple countries, Canada included.
Absolutely. Yep. I hope we answered all the questions. If not, we'll reach out to you directly with the answer to your question. I think we got a bunch of them. There was one that's kind of still here. Ryan answered, does this process remove the surveyor for the lot grading certificate? The answer is no. We do not want to remove that surveyor. They are licensed. They are 100% the stamping authority. We work with them. We work with you, the home builder. We want to make sure that they're, you know, working towards it visually and no issues there. Hands down, work with them. Okay. Well,
I think this wraps it up here, Josh. I mean, do we want to, if there's no more questions at this point in time, you know, I think we can call it for now, right? And really appreciate the time. You know, thank you guys all for your time and attention. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Josh, contact myself directly. You can reach out to your rep as well, if for any kind of follow-ups as well. But you know, we're here to support you guys, and so anything you need, please feel free to reach out. And we really thank you for your time today. Thanks, Josh.
have a great day, guys.